Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Kitchen talk. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk. Let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about?
Hey.
Yo.
It is Kitchen Talk, CTC.
Conversations that cook.
That's what they do. I love it. I look forward to this time every week.
Whoa. Especially when Auntie V is up here. You know we talking about that money. Hey.
Ooh, we got to get into it here because yeah. So welcome, Fransley Moise. So good to see you.
Good to be seen.
Amen.
Not you, huh?
No, there it is.
Yes.
I'm not even gonna give y'all a chance to view me.
Really?
No viewing over here. Go ahead and torch it.
I thought I was the only one.
No viewing over here.
I thought I was the only one. I want to be cremated. I don't even want to be there. Y'all do y'all thing. Have a party. Have church. Do my dance. Whatever. Eat. Play some games. Y'all know how I do.
Find ways to get a deduction out of it.
Well, since you said that,
yes,
that's a point.
Yes. So listen, everybody, Auntie V is here with us. This is my Auntie V. It is Valencia Cain, the founder and owner of Jack and Dot's tax preparation, and she got a whole bunch of other stuff going on, and just got an MBA last year and about to work on the PhD. Auntie, you working on the PhD now, right? See what I'm talking about?
Congratulations!
Yes.
Big timer.
Yes.
Wait till I get an
I'll be calling her Dr. Auntie V soon.
That's what I want right there.
Dr. V.
So listen, this is very, very important. Another one of our very, very important conversations that we have, and trying to make sure people are informed and stay alert, or even just spark a conversation and not just be like, here go my taxes, do them, and I don't know nothing about what's going on. You need to know what's going on. As much as trust my mama, trust ITV, I really didn't ask that many questions because I knew they had my back. But even in that, they would still tell me what's going on and what you need to do. So we all need to stay informed, and in staying informed, we stay empowered. So I think this is very, 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 very important discussion we need to have, along with the fact that next Tuesday, y'all need to go vote if you have not done so already.
I've already done so.
If you have not, you need to go vote. It's imperative.
Yes.
That you go vote.
Yes.
I ain't gonna tell you who to vote for, but go do
I
it.
will.
I know, friends.
Give me a call.
Yeah, y'all call friends. I'm not gonna tell y'all who to vote for. I just want you to go vote.
Oh God.
I just want you to go vote. But Auntie V is here to talk to us about some things, and in her wonderful fashion, she always sends me some stuff that's on the top of the list that we need to talk about. So Auntie, we're gonna dig right in if that's okay. Or do you want to address that about the writing off of the funeral stuff?
Yeah, we're gonna do something a little bit different today. Normally we have questions, or I go over hot topics. Today is also hot topics, but what I also did was sent Lisa some web addresses for you to actually deep further into it, if you want to read more about the subjects at hand, I did send some links that you can actually pull up and read deeper into what the subjects really is. So, and reading those will actually help you really get a better understanding of what we really gonna highlight, because it's just not enough time in a day to highlight all about one subject. So I did give links so you can actually take your time and go back and read the subjects at hand that's most important to you, so you will know how to use them going forward.
And
So
we'll
that's the
put those
biggest
up
difference.
after
The
we'll
seg
put those up on TV after the
after
show.
okay, and segueing right into that, friends. The first thing I heard you talk about when we talked about funerals, one thing that people do not understand is that when a person passes away, a final tax return should be done.
Mm.
People don't understand that. The same way you open up a life on a tax return, you have to close the life on a tax return.
Okay.
The
So
IRS
what if
may
there's
write
money owed? Who pays it?
nobody pays it at that point. The money goes to bad debt to the IRS. But what happens is that it keeps other people from filing under that deceased name or trying to
Ah,
do anything from that person, because you closed out their life on a
got
3310, which is a deceased tax return.
got you.
Now,
Got
what if the deceased gets a refund? The
Oh yeah, what
person that
happens with
does
that?
the tax return gets the refund in their name and care of the deceased, and they get to spend the money.
Well, say that one more time.
The person that does the tax return for the deceased gets to keep the refund money. The IRS actually sends it to the live person in the live person's name and care of the deceased person, and the live person gets to spend the money. It does
Oh
not have to
good.
go to the deceased bank account. It does not have to do any of that. There is something called a 3310 done with the deceased that
Mhm.
indicates a deceased tax return. It asks you, who are you filing the tax return? I'm a family friend. I'm a wife. I'm a son. I'm a daughter. And when you indicate that on the paperwork, you do not have to submit a death certificate either.
Mhm.
All you have to do is submit the tax return. It can be done electronic, just like everything else, and the money comes right back to you.
Wow. So if there is a return, you get the money, but if there's a debt, nobody has to pay it.
No, the debt is for the deceased. They
Got
can't
you.
pay something if they're not here. But
Correct.
if the government owed that person money, that family is allowed to have it, and it do not have to go to probate or any of that. It comes straight back to that person.
Oh wow, that's cool. Okay.
So that's big, and people don't really do that. And a lot of people, once people pass away, they just never do the next tax return. So in my opinion, that's just money left out there. Somebody could be spending
Mhm.
that dollar
Yeah, I like it.
instead of
I
the
like it.
government keeping it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's typically what they do. They will not just do the taxes for you and send it to a family member, because they don't know who's supposed to have it. They don't know
Correct.
Mm.
who's next in line to get that dollar. So
Right.
therefore, if you do the taxes, then you are the one who get the refund money.
Right. Right.
So there's no next of kin when you talk about income tax.
There's not a next of kin, like if you were doing taking over a house or something like that. There's no
Mm.
next of kin in that. It's called a care of. They do a seal on it, and whoever does it is the next person to care.
Mm.
So then that could really be anybody, whoever just does it
Anybody.
first.
The person
Wow.
who's not lazy and do the return gets the money. It
Wow.
don't even have to be a family member. It's all they
Wow.
do is ask you who
Yeah.
you are. What's your name? My name Jane Doe. I want this money, and they send it to Jane Doe.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
And
that's
Jane
good to
Doe will
know.
get the money.
Jane Doe gets the dollar. Yeah,
That is good to know.
and people need to start doing that. Especially, I learned people of color just does not follow through.
And that's a good point. So what if the person had died 4 or 5 years back? Can you still file those taxes for that individual?
The statute runs out in 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Everything has a 3 year statute.
So now once the statute runs out, then the IRS
You
just
don't need them doing anything. The statute is
at
done.
that point.
Even if
Okay.
you're a live person, and you have not filed your taxes in 3 years or 4 years back, and you file your taxes late 4 years later, they will not pay you either.
Mm.
Hmm.
because the statute ran out. Everything with the IRS has a statute, a time limit, an age limit, an amount. Everything they do have all three of those or one of those things attached to it.
Right.
So those are the things you have to be mindful of when you're getting ready to do something, because
Mhm.
you got to know your time frame.
Right.
You got to know the age of that situation or the age of that person or the age of that timeline, whatever that is. There is one of those things that does follow through with that. So you just have to know what that is in order to do it. But if you file your taxes 4 years late and you get a $10,000 refund, guess what? The government kept your $10,000. They will not give it to you,
Wow.
which is
Wow.
why it's very important to file on time.
And I guess in a way that does kind of make sense because, you know, they may have planned for it in the year that you had it. That's like somebody trying to come get money from you when you don't plan for it. They didn't come get it, so you spent it,
Right.
Wow.
and now you can't really come back and say, okay, well, I want to, just print me up
Yes.
some more.
Yes. So yeah, and
Want my
that's pretty
money back.
much what happens. That happens a lot.
Mhm.
These last 5 years for me in my office, we have been dealing with people that have not filed in 10 years or so. The government have been writing them, but they pretty much do it like they do everything else. They just throw the letter away,
Disregard. Right.
and
Wow.
then something happens in their life that is mandating them to have that tax return. For
Yeah.
example, you want to buy a house,
You need the
you
taxes.
can't buy one.
Yeah.
Because when they pull records, oh, you haven't filed in 5 years. When you
Yeah.
call the IRS and say, hey, I need the documents because I ain't filed in the last 3 years, they say, oh, wait a minute. You got to go 10 years back. Then we'll give you what you need because we need all those caught up. Then they're going to give you a date and a time frame to have them in. They're going to give you a special address to mail them to. Until they get it, they're not going to allow you to do any of that. They're not going to put anything on record for the house people to get. You just stuck until you do what they tell you to do.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. I think another one is financial aid when maybe one of the babies are getting
That
ready to
is.
go to college. Like,
That is.
They
okay,
need those
you
tax
see them tax.
returns. Yeah.
Correct.
But
Correct.
the crazy part about that, y'all, is that if you do the tax return, there is a tool in there now for them to send the information straight over to the Department of Education. Nobody uses it. There's a
Mm.
button that says, is this child going to get financial aid? You click, yeah. That automatically sends that tax return information to the Department of Education.
Oh
Hmm.
wow.
Nobody used the software to do what it's supposed to do. Instead, the parents call you. I'm at the school with my child and I need a financial aid paper. Hey man, where the tax return I gave you? It's at the house. Okay, go back home. Drive them 8 hours back.
Right.
Get it, and then go back to the school. Because what you want me to do is leave my house, go back to my office, email you some stuff, just because you're in a different state trying to do schooling that you didn't think of to take with you. Oh, you thought of it, but you just knew you can get me to do it. And that's becomes the problem. And a lot of
Mm.
tax offices close down in May. What do you do then?
Yeah.
Mm. So
They
I
haven't
do
opened
have
the
a
check.
question for you.
What's that?
The new software system that the IRS is using, how do you like that system?
It's more updated. In the last 5 years, they have updated that system at least 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
What the new system does is a lot of algorithms in the system to help catch fraud,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm.
identity theft.
Yep.
So
Yep.
a lot of the departments was created, like identity theft has its own department now.
Mm.
If you
Wow.
have an identity theft issue, you don't call into the regular number, you have to call into identity theft.
Right.
And there's nothing but reps that deal with nothing but identity theft. So that's one of the big things. Another big thing came out when COVID hit that everybody was already buying and selling children. But when the stimulus came around and everybody was going to get their money based on their own child, they called the IRS and reported, I didn't tell Lisa that she could claim my child. Well, you
Mm.
lied because you did give Lisa permission to claim your child.
Yeah.
But because Lisa would not give you that $1,400 per child that she had already claimed, you
Mm.
didn't want to out Lisa. They
Right.
Mm.
outed their mothers, they are outed their fathers, they outed their grandparents, they outed all of them
Wow.
Wow.
over the stimulus money. Well, think about it. The stimulus money could not have been gotten without somebody having working income.
Right.
So Miss Lady on welfare don't have no working income.
Right.
What was she gonna file anyway? The lady did you a favor by giving you that $600 or $1,000 for that child
Right.
anyway.
Right.
Now you mad because stimulus is there, and I could have got money for my own child. You could have if you were smart enough to go to work. You could have if you were smart enough to get on welfare. You could have if you had sense enough to have a career. You could have on a lot of cases.
Yeah. Coulda,
But
shoulda,
the life
woulda.
path you chose did not give you that opportunity.
Yeah.
But you
Wow.
reported. So what the IRS did was they had a whole task force for that. They created a team. Say when they called in and told me Lisa wasn't supposed to claim my child, I'm gonna write Lisa a letter. I'm gonna say, hey Lisa, tell me how you got that baby information. The mama gave it to me. Hey Lisa, do you have a picture of that social security card? Yeah, because she gave it to me to file. Lisa gonna send that card in. You know what they're gonna tell mama? Sit down somewhere because Lisa got the social security card. Now it ain't her child. And she was never supposed to claim it, but I'm not gonna sanction her because she got proof against you, the
Yeah.
parent.
Yeah. Makes
And
sense.
so and so you don't so you can't because you don't work, you don't really file income tax, so it ain't no really need for you to claim a child.
Right. You don't have income. But think about it on the flip side of this. If you are a mother or father that is on HUD, okay, you already told HUD that you don't have any income, so therefore they're paying all of your rent, they're paying all your bills.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But now you want to get smart and be mad with Lisa for this child, and now you want to file some type of tax return to indicate that you had some employment. And guess what HUD gonna do? Put you off HUD indefinitely because you
Yep.
have taken our free money and told us you didn't have a job, but this tax return said you did. Now they're tied in government to government, student loan,
Yeah.
unemployment,
Yeah.
HUD, food stamps, welfare. They're all on the same system now. So when you do that tax return and lie, they already know. I had a client that did it. I told her, look, baby, I'm not gonna do the tax return for you because you told me on HUD. My friends been doing it. Hey, 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 go where your friends went at then. I say, but if anything go wrong, just call me and tell me because I'm interested to know how this gonna come out. That's the lie I tell because I don't really care.
Ah.
I don't care
Oh
because
God.
I know what's going to happen. I already know
Right.
what's going to happen. She
Right.
called me and she said, Miss Valencia, I want you to know. I said, well, what, baby? You know, we playing two roles in here. What we doing?
Ah.
She said, I went to my HUD recertification interview, and this lady flipped the piece of paper around in front of me and asked me, did I know what this was? It was a tax return. I said, you filed them taxes anyway. They put her off of HUD in Duval County indefinitely. The only place she can get HUD is in a different county, but it can't be this one for the remaining of her life. And guess what? They gave her 15 days to get off their property.
Wow. Wow.
That's really what happens. So
But I
you
still,
chose.
that's a difficult one because she might have been working, but the job is very minimal. So you're still going to need
Well,
HUD.
then, no, that's not difficult, friends, because if she had worked at all, she was supposed to report that dollar she
Support it.
made.
Yeah.
But okay, good point, friends. So let's walk down this road real quick. Lisa says she did not work.
Right.
We know the outcome of what we just talked about, right? But
Right.
let's
Mm-hmm.
say Lisa's best friend, Rhonda, says, I did have a little job and I reported my income to HUD. So HUD have not bothered me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm following all the rules. But Rhonda decided that when she got ready to do her taxes on that little money she made, she was not getting enough refund. And the tax person said, well, girl, the only way you're going to get better refund is to have more income. So Rhonda decided to add more self-employment income, add some self-employment income to her tax return. Even though Rhonda reported her income to HUD, Rhonda also done fudged them by adding the self-employment income that she did not do and did not have. But the tax return is a legal and binding document. When it goes electronic, it is done. She then admitted to working under the table and making some money that she had not reported to HUD. She's also at fault.
Wow. Wow.
So they're looking
You
at the whole
just,
picture.
oh yeah. And now that
They're looking
all
at
the
the whole picture.
systems talk to each other, that's gonna
They
make it
all talk to
even.
each other.
Yeah,
They tapping
And,
into
and-
doctor's
and-
office,
it's hard because in the
school records.
I guess you just got to do
Hey,
it right
you
because
got to do what's right.
the thing
and
is
if you're
that
not gonna do it right, learn how to push the envelope to the edge of the table and don't let it fall off. You got to figure out what role you're gonna play in that.
right, and that's kind of the hard part because again, you may have that mother or father that's working two jobs and maybe another side job to keep everything afloat, even with HUD. So then, I can't tell you everything, but yeah, I'm telling you everything. I mean,
You don't have to tell them everything anymore because your social security number hits the system and they can tell you everything.
They can tell you everything.
They can tell you. You don't have to tell them. So when you don't tell them the truth,
right.
they tell you, and that has
And
Wow.
been
that's
going
what
on
gets
so
you in
long.
trouble.
And that's the part that gets you in trouble. You fine with the jobs you got because they know those. You
Right.
don't
Hmm.
tell them about those. They just not fine with that extra part that you claimed on the tax return just to get more money. They're not okay with
Right.
that part.
Right. Right.
So that's the part that gets you. That's the part they're not okay with.
Mm,
Wow.
that's tough. That's tough. That's
It's
tough.
not tough
It's
because
not tough
if
if
you
you
follow
just
the
do the right
rules,
thing.
it's not tough because if they had, first of all, stop going to people that don't guide you correctly as a tax preparer. First of all, let's go there.
Let's start at that point.
Let's start at that point because
Don't
what
go to the
happens?
get over people.
Don't go to I can get you 8,000 guaranteed dollars
Right. 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 Right.
because if you just do the return correctly, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get that 8,000 on what you got because you got
Mhm.
the lower income bracket who gonna
Mhm.
get the higher of the refund money anyway.
Right. Correct.
So don't let
Correct.
them think you got to have this fake business and all that on there just to get this money. You don't.
Right.
You're already benefiting because you low income bracket.
Right.
You're gonna get the higher of all the money anyway. You're gonna cap out. Those two children gonna guarantee you that $5,000 earned income credit. Then it's gonna guarantee you $3,000 of child tax credit. Look how quick your money went up. If you had
Yeah.
left off the fake, you would have got the real money. But when you added the fake, you messed up the whole dynamics of the real tax return.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, so
Boy,
that's where the
boy,
problem.
boy.
We always want to get over too quick. We got to get rich quick. We want to get over.
Yep. That fast money. And that
And
ain't
we
all,
got to
that is
we got
not
to
good.
know our preparers. We got to be
Hmm.
able to look up our preparers and know who we're working with. We got
Yeah.
to do some background on our preparers. We must. It is a must that you got to know because the second part of what I heard Lisa say earlier, the IRS is holding you solely responsible for what's on that tax return.
Yeah, you
Whether you
talked
know it or
about
not,
that the last time
you are
we were here,
solely
and I
responsible.
said, wow, that's a big one. No matter if you rich or poor, you sign
You are
that document.
solely
I think
responsible.
about Steve Harvey, and he was sharing his tax issues where his tax attorney, he thought the attorney was doing his job. He paid the attorney, paid the money that the attorney told him to pay. The things weren't going out or fleshing out right. They didn't come after the tax attorney. They came after Steve Harvey.
That's right. And he
So
looked
he
like
had to
boo boo
work.
because nobody sat down and explained to him about that whole tax return. If you walk in my office, or even if you do a virtual copy that return, I make you put it up on your computer and I walk you through every line of it to tell you how everything got the way it got and why it got there. If a preparer do not do that with you, run and run fast
Hmm.
because you got to know what's there. A
Hmm.
second part of that, real quick, is if you get a tax return from somebody and nobody credentials is at the bottom of that second page of that tax return, no company name, no P10, no company phone number, no nothing. They didn't do it as a company; they did it as you did it yourself. And
Wow.
even though you paid the top dollar, that's how it is done. When the IRS look at it, they say nobody did this for you. You did this is self-prepared. You did it yourself. But nobody knows to look at that page and see what credentials is on the bottom.
Right.
If you're an IRS certified person, There's a PTIN number on the bottom of that tax return. Your
And
company information is there. Your name is there saying you did it.
that's
So
page number
you,
2, everybody.
Right.
right. So I'm held just like you're held. But you got to be able to
Yeah.
look and know what's on
Oh
there.
my God.
And I meet people like this every day. Oh
Yeah.
no, such and such did it. I was like, well, that ain't what this say. Just say you did it. I didn't do that.
Wow.
What you mean she did that? No, 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 ma'am. Don't tell me who the lady is because this say you did it.
Wow.
Now
That's
that I didn't know, but Auntie V with the even as much as I trust her, I'm like, I don't want to know. You finna sit
No,
down
you got to.
and
Everybody has to get a
we gonna
discussion.
go through this step by
We
step.
can go
oh
through
I
that
be
God.
like,
right
yes, ma'am.
But I do
because
think that there should be, especially if the company name is there, there should be, like the Steve Harvey example, there should be some liability on the person so who actually did the taxes, right? If
it
it's a
is some
reputable
line. It
company.
is on them.
So
It is
it's
some
kind of
line.
crazy because he still had to pay the back taxes, but
Absolutely.
he wasn't the one that made the mistake.
So what he have to do then is do a report the preparer. The IRS allows you to report that preparer,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go after the preparer for you.
Ah, see, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Well, it was a whole
There is a
um
report.
tax place here in town that was doing some
Shady.
not so,
Mhm.
above board stuff. And yeah, some people were drawn into it, but they really went after the preparers because they knew what they was doing was wrong. And
I
so
got a
some of
case
the
this
people
year
that they
alone.
prepared for were able to kind of step out of it.
Right.
Yes.
But then a
So the
lot of them
preparer gets a
too,
$2,000 fine per
yeah.
transaction incorrectly being done. They pay $2,000 a whack for every transaction that was incorrectly done. The preparer
Wow.
has to pay. That is their fine.
And
But you
how many
have to
years
report
back to
that.
that?
Huh?
It's for every how many years?
It's far back as they want you to go. Because see, once they start auditing you, they got the right to go back 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So they can look back up to 10 years on you as they want to. There's nothing you can do about that. They can go 10
So
years backwards or 10 years forward. They're going to do
right.
one or the other.
So 10 years, $2,000 every year. Wow.
If they find fault in it, yes.
Now that's per
And then
mistake, France.
Per
that is per
mistake.
mistake. That is not per person. That's per mistake.
Oh, I thought it was per tax
No,
return.
sir. No, sir.
So
Per
every
mistake.
mistake that they find on that one tax return is
Yes,
$2,000.
sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
And what they do then is they sanction the CPAs, the attorneys, they disbar them from doing taxes permanently. And we get a list every month of who've been disbarred in all states.
Wow.
Wow. How can the public get that list so that you're not going to somebody who's essentially on the list?
The public
Oh, that's
can
a
go to
good question.
irs.gov and look up their preparer. Our information is out there, just like daylight saving time. We can't hide it. They won't let us hide it.
Mm.
But all of your stuff, it tells them your credentials, it tells them your education level, it tells them how the IRS classifies you, because they have you either a tax preparer, you're a tax advisor, you're a tax associate, you're a tax specialist. They give us a classification as well.
So
And
I
it's
go
out
to
there.
irs.gov and I put in the
And
company
you put in
name
tax
or
preparer. If you put in the keyword under search tax preparer, it'll tell you just how to go out and look at tax preparers in your state, in your city.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. I didn't even know they had a list like that.
Too much information out there. They got to take some of it down because, like all of our personal um, credential numbers, they have those available too. So what we're finding is the fraud people is going out there taking that information and doing fraudulent tax returns under your number, and then you
Oh,
get this call from the IRS that's saying, "Hey, hey, hey!" But what the savior is that we also have a report card that's given out every month,
Mm-hmm.
all 12 months a year, that I can log into my report card and it'll show me every tax return I've done.
Right.
If I compare that tax return to what's in my office, I know those are mine. Now, if there's a pattern of one year there was green dot cards. So if anybody had green dot cards, they reached out to you. They'll reach out to us. They just can't reach out to y'all. Say, hey, look, you got 12 green dot cards on your account. Did you do those? No, ma'am. So what they do then is they send a representative to your office to verify that person is not in your computer because you said
Mm.
they were not there.
Right.
And when they say, "Oh, that's not in your computer," okay, we're gonna wipe these off, but now we're gonna go after the IP address that did those.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna find that, track that person down.
Because now they trace IP addresses. They know exactly where you did it from.
Where you doing it? Where you at? Yep.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
This technology ain't playing. You will be
Well,
No.
found
it
out.
goes both ways too, Lisa, because they use the technology to get away with stuff, do shady stuff, and then they, turn around. The
Yeah.
technology is also helping to catch those, you know. So as much
Yes.
as they're trying to keep up with it, the other person is actually still
Yeah.
working hard to find other ways to scam, scheme, lie,
Yeah.
and all that other
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
you had one of those on your things to
That
talk
is gonna be
about.
the last thing we're gonna right. We're gonna talk about that. That's gonna be the last one. But the first thing we really gonna talk about is withholding on your W-2. This is pretty big. This is pretty big. Everybody, please pay attention. This is gonna hurt. If you got a W-2 this year and it appeared that you did not pay enough taxes. So we saw this across the board. Like the state of Florida, anybody work for the state paid zero taxes. They did not know they were paying zero taxes. Did that happen to you, friends?
no, I'll just go ahead.
Yeah.
I got a
So
question.
so what they did was the former president created a few things that they didn't tell America about. One thing was created was the amount of federal withholding was now based on the amount of income you made, right? Before we had a cap, we had a 6, 8, 10% running number. We don't have a running number anymore. And that started with the former president. The second thing the former president did was gave companies the permission to stop withholding, but they did not have to inform the employee at all.
Right.
So you got in your mind, you said, "Oh, I'm getting $50 or more per payday. Oh, I need this 50." But nobody ever told you that it was your taxes that was not being
That was
paid.
not being
Oh,
paid. Yep.
wow.
So when you file your tax return, you owed the government money that you had to never in your life had to pay. And
Right.
now you blaming your tax preparer because you did something wrong. No, no, no. Your government did something wrong. Your prime president did something wrong by allowing these companies not to withhold that are withholding taxes on you. And the third thing he did in that same umbrella was change the W-4. We all know the typical W-4 for the last 99 years said your name, all these top lines, how many exemptions you got, any
Mhm.
extra, sign down here and turn it in. Well, that
Right.
form does not exist anymore. If you look at your new withholding form, it says if you have a dependent child under the age of 16, multiply that number by 2,000 and put that number here. The second question says if you have a child over the age of 17, multiply that number by 500 and put that number here. The third line say additional withholding, and you sign it. It still give you all that mumbo jumbo. Don't fill out none of that stuff on the mumbo jumbo page. All them questions, skip them all. Don't do that because that is geared for you not to pay taxes, and you will be paying at the end of the year. That's exactly what the new form was created for. So when people did not understand that, I never looked to see I wasn't paying enough taxes. But
Mhm.
when I got to the tax preparer, she said, and this is all I do to them. Why you didn't pay your taxes? What you mean I did? No, 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 no. Look right here, this piece of paper. This is what your W-2 said. Oh, that's $100 and you made 80,000. Hey, hey, ma'am, you know you always paid more than that. How come? It
Wow.
wasn't the people's fault, really. It was their fault for not being aware, but it was the
Correct.
government's fault
Correct.
for not informing you that this was a
Right.
new law that we were going to be abiding by as a company.
Yeah.
So I spent half of the year trying to get everybody to get their W-4 in order. So when you
Mhm.
come back this year, you won't have that problem. Now I got some calls just last week saying they still not taking out taxes. I made 50,000. I paid 100 because you chose not to do nothing about it. You
Right.
cannot say you were not informed because I sent out mass emails to every client. We sent out how to do it. We gave y'all days to call us and we was gonna walk you through it. We gave y'all those options. So I have no sympathy for people who walk in this year who did not follow the rules. That is not my fault. I
So let
gave
me
you
ask you this, Miss
tools.
Auntie V. If I'm one of those people, do you have something in place to help individuals take out their taxes
Mhm,
as they were being taken out by the company so that
mhm.
they know, okay, you know what? Here's my check, Auntie V, I'm putting out. I have another bank account that's designed to hold this money aside for my taxes just in case I have to pay these taxes.
Okay.
Do you provide that service? Almost
Yeah,
like a pre-tax service? Perfect.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a service. We do a lot of educating on how, why, and what you should be withholding. If
Mhm.
you're not going to pay it in a quarterly fashion, then at the end of the year, please have the money available when it's time for your taxes done. Of course, we try to itemize you out and do everything we possibly can to reduce that as much as possible. But it's best to try to have that money already set aside because if you don't, anything after April 15th, you will be paying penalties and interest on every unpaid dollar per day,
Per
and that's
day.
how the IRS sanctions you per day. So
What
when you
about
create,
payment plans? Is it
you can do a
interest
payment
attached
plan.
to
It does
payment
not
plans?
stop. It does not stop the penalties and interest because they're collecting on the unpaid balance. Yes, you got the payment plan, and yes, you're making the payment, but you're still receiving interest and penalties for not being able to pay that bill in full.
Ah,
Yeah. And so how do people go and check their balance on how much they owe the IRS?
That's a good question. This is very new. The IRS have allowed you to create your own account now that you will have for the rest of your life. ID Me account, and it will show you every letter they send you. It'll show you every time they took money from you. It'll show you every bill you paid. It'll show you. You can log in on your account, and it tells you what your balance is after every payment you made. So that is very new, and I do advise everybody to get an account, whether you have a debt or not. You want the ID Me account because if anybody try to do anything fraudulent against you, it will show you. It is
mhm.
going to allow you to see your own life. And what it does then, it helps reduce the amount of identity theft that can take place against you because you have a certified IRS account, an ID Me account, that prevents them from being able to take your identity.
You said
So
ID me account?
It's an ID Me. It's an irs.gov. And when you go to that page, you're going to see three things. You're going to see if you had a previous account, and then it say create a new ID Me account. What the ID Me does is that you have to do a selfie of yourself. You
yep,
have to send in your front and back of your driver's license.
yep,
You have to prove it by sending a copy of your W-2 or your light bill or something, something,
yep,
so they know who you are. So
yep.
if anybody try to send something in on you, or go to your account and do something, it's stuck because they know what Lisa looks like now.
Right.
And when they
I
says, hey, so I go to Lisa's account, I try to do it, they say, well, Lisa, send us your ID again. We just want to verify against what we got. When they get my picture, don't look like yours, they're gonna kick my butt out your stuff.
yep. And it was interesting when I set up my ID Me account. I did do that on
You
TV, so
did.
you know I did. I thought it was very interesting because it's very invasive, but it's done for that reason, so that nobody, you know, commits some type of fraud.
But guess
Who
who else
has
has the,
an ID me account? Why y'all ain't tell me? Well, I'm just not finding out.
we
You
talked
got
about this the last time we was in this room together.
Yep,
We
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 did.
talked
did.
about
We
ID.
did. And I went on
Friends
and
did
I
it
signed up
because
and I was
I
like,
advise everybody to do that.
yeah, you did. Yes, you did. And
What
I
was
was
I
shocked.
doing?
I was shocked that they asked me for the questions that they asked me almost down to my fingerprint or
That's right.
something like a face image. They wanted my face image. So I had to
That's
get
right.
the camera right. And I'm like,
That's
wow,
right.
this technology, listen, they want to know who you are. They
Because they're
want
trying
to,
to keep people from taking your identity. Guess who else? Unemployment has the same system now.
oh,
You
wow.
can't get unemployment without showing your face now.
Wow.
So that'll keep them from doing all those fraudulent claims. They
Right,
can't do it
right.
anymore.
You know,
And
people
if
will
your
sign up
face,
for that
your picture does
unemployment
not
quick.
show, you have to scan to get into your unemployment account now. Yeah,
Wow.
they can't do it anymore because it
Okay.
doesn't match. And that's the purpose of you doing the ID me. So when somebody go behind you and do something to unemployment, hey, they're gonna stop that. Nobody gonna
Yeah.
be able to take your money out of there because
That's
it's
Okay,
not
I
the
gotta do
person.
me a ID me account.
yeah. It's not that long, but it is tedious. I will tell you that it's very tedious.
It's not that long.
No, but you got to be ready.
Mhm.
You got to have all your stuff
It
together.
would have been
That's one thing that
simpler.
I picked up.
Yeah,
Your driver's
and
license, all
it's
that
simple
stuff.
to do a cell phone and a computer at the same time.
Yeah,
That makes the process easier. If
it
you have
does.
your cell phone and your computer at the same time,
Yeah,
because they're going
Okay.
to send stuff to your cell phone and just drop it back to your computer, and it
correct.
helps you to get it done a lot quicker. Then they
Yeah,
say go back to your phone and hold it up to your face. That
yep.
is, oh, back it up, and you got to actually it scans your whole image,
And
and
Miss,
it
Ooh, that's
verified that against the ID you sent in.
I'm gonna log on tonight. But again, the technology is there. I mean, anybody could take a picture of you and hold it up. I know there's probably some type of
No, they can't.
redundancies in place, but
No, they can't. They can't take a picture of you and hold it up because you when you doing it and it says bring it closer, doing all of
right.
that, they're actually verifying you. I got a client that could not pass ID me because she wore a lot of weave, different styles, and her current did not match her driver's license.
What?
They wouldn't approve her.
Oh my god. Got to take the weave, take the
Won't
weave
approve.
off, take
No,
the
wow.
weave
she has to
off.
physically. Nope. She got to physically walk into an office to get approved.
Wow.
They won't approve her.
Oh
No, ma'am. And
man.
she's sitting in my office. This is me, ma'am. They say, ma'am, that ain't none of you. I don't know what you saying, but I don't know
Wow.
who on that other picture. But this, what I'm looking at, is not you. Oh, ma'am, it is
Now,
me. And she was up. She was shady because she didn't want to keep talking to the lady. I said, oh, you done did some stuff behind the scene. They know that's not you.
Right.
oh, okay. I was gonna say because I mean, your weave really shouldn't make you look all that different.
Lisa, yeah, she was way different from the picture that they
And
showed
then
me of
Lisa,
her and the picture that I was looking at sitting right there.
Lisa trying to hold it up.
I don't know who
Oh,
them two
my
people
RTV,
was.
it's bad out here in these streets. They changed their weave. They got the eyelashes. They
But
got
what
the
they
makeup.
do is
It's a
that
whole new person. You a whole new person.
you couldn't tell who she was. But what they do is that when you sitting in my office
Oh my
and you on my computer and they doing it, they
god.
ask you, are you at your tax preparer? Yes. What's the company name? They look it up and they call me, or they because I do have an IRS inbox with the IRS itself. So they drop stuff into my
Mm.
inbox
Yeah.
and said, look at this picture and look at that lady and tell me is that the same person.
Yes.
And I was like, ooh, that's way different. Not only was the weight different, the tattoos were not the same. So
Same.
they had looked at a
Oh,
lot of stuff.
Yeah.
so it wasn't her weave.
They
It
looked at
really
a
was
lot
a
of
different person.
stuff. I was just laughing at the girl and telling her, girl, your weave was different today. But no, I couldn't tell her the real truth because you can't really tell what they looking at.
Right.
Because
Right.
I didn't want her to go fix nothing and try to get back. But it was not the same lady.
Mm-hmm.
No, she was playing with somebody else's stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Mm.
Yeah, so y'all federal withholding. So everybody, please watch your federal withholding. You're gonna have that problem again this year if you did not do anything about it. So everybody know how to log into their payroll when they get their check stubs and stuff, and look at what your numbers are there. First of all, get your last paycheck and look at how much federal withholding you have paid year to date. If that is
Yeah.
not a good number based on the income you have, you're gonna have some problems.
What should it be around? What percentage should it be around?
It depends on the money you're making. So, for example, on irs.gov, there's a 2020 tax table that tells us the new bracket. A
Okay.
typical bracket of $80,000 is now about 14 to 15% taxes that should be paid in.
Okay.
So we don't have that 6%, 10%. 10% doesn't exist anymore. It starts at 12 and goes up to 32% now. So that is kind of big, but people are not understanding that. They got to get that on their head. That's law.
Right.
So would you suggest that we do a W-4 every year?
If you got it right, no. But if it's
Okay.
not right, yes. If you got it in a workable position, don't change it because it's
Mhm.
going to work. Unless you change jobs, you want to make sure that one is right. But if the one you have right now is working and you're paying the right amount of taxes, don't bother that because it is doing what it's supposed to do. But if you're looking at your money and let's say year to date you've made $60,000 and you've only paid in 600,
Something
you
ain't
should have
right
paid
about
in no
that.
less than 6,000 by then.
Yeah.
And if
Right.
you're nowhere near there, there's going to be a problem. And
Yeah.
people like to say, just because I have children that'll help me, not anymore.
Mm.
It doesn't save
Mm.
you as much as it used to before.
Why is that?
Because the government now says if you don't put the cookies in the jar, we're not going to give them back to you. But if you put them in the jar, we're going to reward you for following the rules. We're going to give you all these wonderful credits because you followed the rules. But if you did not pay the amount of taxes that you were supposed to pay, we're going to withdraw that from the tax return and give you less money.
Okay.
Mm.
Because taxes is what we're supposed to pay. They're rewarding you on following the rules, not breaking the rule.
You're right.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's deep.
Whew. All right,
That's
Auntie
a
V,
lot.
we on to the next one.
Okay, so let's go to people with retirement accounts. We know with COVID happened, a lot of people took a lot of money out of retirement accounts because they were allotted to, and they were able to spread it out over a 3 year period and da 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 da. Well, now your 401ks and your 403bs and all of these things, the IRS under that also have an estimator for you to actually be able to determine whether it's good for you to take money out of that 401k account or not. They put a withholding estimator on there. You could go in before you take the money out. You could estimate the damage it's going to do to your tax return. They gave you that choice.
Mhm.
So you could precede the problem you may or may not have before you
Mm.
take the money out of your retirement account. People should not take money out of retirement account. They become 59 and a half years old anyway, because if you do it before that, you will be paying a 10% penalty. And let's not misunderstand it. Even though you pay the taxes when you take the money out, if you are not 59 and a half years old when you withdraw it, you still will pay a 10% penalty in the tax return.
Mm. Okay. Hmm.
A lot of people like, so I paid my taxes. Well, you did, but you didn't pay this 10% penalty because you cannot prepay that. But you will pay it in the tax return.
Wow.
And the link is actually going to give you reasons and rules on how to take the money out and why you should take it out and whether you want to do it as a hardship because hardship you typically pay back or whether you want to take out a one lump sum and don't pay it back. That's what the additional part of this link is going to actually walk you through.
Mhm.
Mm.
So when people want to do that, it just gives you a lot of rules on the Roth versus the traditional versus the hardship. So it kind of walk you through all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And even in the run of a divorce, a lot of people with a divorce will still have to give so much of their retirement to that other person. That is another part of this link.
Really?
I'm going to walk you through that. Yeah. Sometimes it becomes a part of the divorce decree, and she gets to get a check when you get a check, even though
Yep.
y'all are divorced. So we're going to show you that part of life too. It's going to make the divorced people figure out whether or not they want to take that money from that person or not. Because a lot of times it hurt the person who's taking it more than it hurt the person who's giving it.
Got you. Got you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
it's
because if
telling you
both of them are getting a check, then
her check is coming at her name. She's responsible for the taxes on her check herself. That person she took the money from is no longer responsible for that.
got you.
So they have to start being mindful of that. Even though you're just trying to take all you can, sometimes it's not
Right.
best to just take stuff like that because you're going to have the tax ramifications down the line that you might not be able to afford to pay.
Correct.
Mm.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
This
Woo.
is pretty interesting.
Whoa.
A lot of people got a check back from the IRS this year. Some people got a letter saying, "Hey, we're going to give you some money back." Those
Hmm.
people that were fortunate enough to get that, what that really was is that anybody that filed their taxes late or had a late penalty or anything on their tax return from 2019 to 2020, the IRS, this current president said that, hey, we gotta give America a break. We gotta stop sanctioning them on that. What we're gonna do is go back and give them that money back. So a lot of times you got the letter and it just check showed up and nobody know why the check showed up. This is where the money came from. It is your money to spend because you paid a late fee, a penalty. You might have paid it within the tax return and didn't know you paid it. You might have had to send them that extra $200 that they say you owed additional. What they did was send all of that stuff back to you. Biden said, "Hey, we're just gonna give them a reward. We're gonna give it back to them, and we're not gonna sanction them for it." So, yeah, Mr. Government, y'all done already took it, but now we're gonna give it back. And the checks came real quick because I got mine.
I did get one too.
I didn't get no
So
check.
did you know why you got the check, friends?
I did.
Okay.
So I was like, well, what's this for? And it actually tells you in the letter that we're returning it back from these past years of whatever from your taxes. I was like, oh, okay, well, here it is.
See, he was smart enough to read the letter. Most people don't. They just
you know what they read on TV? They read the zeros.
Yeah.
They read the zeros.
So he took the time and did what he was supposed to do. He read the letter to know why. But that's where the money came from.
Yes.
And it's probably they're probably pretty much almost through with that now. But people that got the money, that's where the money came from.
So that's if you file late or you had any kind of penalties.
Yeah.
Okay.
They wrote you a letter telling you was gonna get it. And how I ended up with mine was crazy. In 2020, last year, I was so busy with everybody else stuff that I forgot to file my own corporate tax return.
Wow.
April 15th, I was so tired. I got home. I got in the tub, and when I rolled up in the bed, I said, "You didn't file your taxes.
You didn't file your taxes.
It's too late."
Yep.
The next day, I was like, you know what? I need another day to just break this down because I don't know how the world I did that. So I filed 2 days late. It cost me $250.
Wow.
2 days. I filed the tax return, electronically, paid my bill, and was done. And that's how I got the money back. But I forgot to do my own. So I make sure I don't do that again.
I know.
Somebody else can do that, not me. Yeah.
You know what they say, the person that fixes houses always have a hard time getting their house fixed. The person that does whatever it is, you kind of forget and what's going on in your house.
Yeah. So 2023, next year, everybody got to look at the standard deduction. That 7% increase. So what that means is that, this year, a married filing joint standard deduction was $25,500. It's going to increase by 7%. A single person was $12,500. It's going to increase by 7%. Everybody is going to get another 7% increase. In this economy, it is good for most people because a lot of people used to have to itemize to get this break. You don't anymore. Biden is actually giving you this break without having to itemize it at all. So what that does is that it says that your income is $60,000. You sit here, right? The first thing they're going to do is take the standard deduction out of that income. Right. So if you had $12,500 going to come from your 60, the part that you now have to pay taxes on is the 60 minus the 12, and that bottom number is now, you won't be paying on the whole 60. You will only be paying on the number minus the standard deduction. So increasing the standard deduction is going to make this income lower, which means your taxable portion is also going to be lower.
So I do an itemize, and I'm going to bring this back because you told me to do this, and I did it. I took off that system where it was calculated for me. I'm like, no, I'm going to go back to my Excel sheet, and I was itemizing everything, down to what, and I send it to my tax preparer, and we gravy. Are you saying that this year I would not have to do the itemized set up?
No, I'm saying if you itemize, continue to itemize
Okay, perfect.
because that means your life warrants you to itemize.
Correct.
But a
I
lot of
have an
people's life,
LLC.
right? A lot of people's life no longer warrants that because the
Right.
standard deduction is so high. But in your case, you have enough going on to continue to itemize.
Gotcha.
If you have been an itemizing person, do not stop itemizing. It is
Okay.
very important that you don't change what you have been doing
Perfect.
because IRS looks for that. They look for what changes you're making. If you itemized
Correct.
last year and don't itemize next year, they want to know why.
Why?
They
Yeah.
may not ask you why, but they're gonna
Right.
soft audit you to determine why.
Right.
But if you keep in the same pattern that you have been doing, it
Yeah.
makes your life so much easier.
Yeah.
And they don't look at you.
I keep it the same. I play fair. So all of my things, and I get my W, I put everything in place. I got my itemized list, and I give it to her. She take care of me. I'm tell me how much I got to pay. I pay it. What else can you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, as long as you break down everything and put everything on itemized, it should help bring your debt down some. If you've
Mhm.
been paying 10,000, if you get down to 5,000, hell, that's grits and gravy. You done cut that in half. And
Right.
every year
Hmm.
you want to try to reduce that some more.
Right.
Yeah. So the goal is to pay as less to the government as you possibly can. That's really the goal.
That's
But
the
the only
goal.
way for people to have lives to do that is to itemize every piece of it.
Right.
And good preparers will tell you, oh no, friends, you can't put this soda on there now because you drunk that on your own time. That's where you get a good person that to really walk you through
Yeah. Yeah. And she does
the
that.
pieces that you
Everything that I
cannot
have.
put there.
Correct.
And that's when you
Correct.
get a good person at. And then the other guy, and then she'll interview you and say, well, I saw this soda, but was it on Tuesday after church? You know, just they
Yeah.
come up with other stuff to really help you out.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I
So
had the soda in
that's
Kitchen
good.
Talk, and Kitchen Talk is a business, so
That is.
it is. It
That
is.
is.
This
So
is
Lisa, your
business, right?
deduction this year 13,850. That's what your standard is. It went up from 12,500 to 13,850.
That's
So that's
nice.
a big hit. So, yeah. This is pretty interesting too on the mileage rates. The mileage rates that is
Mhm.
increasing for people with the businesses and doing different stuff. So in this, I did show you guys where they have a business rate, which was 58.5 cents. It went up to 62.5 cents.
Okay.
Then you have the medical and the moving rate was typically 18%, and now it's 22%. The only difference that people got to be careful this year with is that the rates are broken down for per 6 months. So for the first half of the year, you got to use the old rate, and the second half of the year, you got to use the new rate.
So, if I'm paying, let's say, you're going to the doctor, you got to pay your doctor bills and stuff like that. That is itemizable, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, all copays, anything medical
All
related,
co-pays,
down to
correct.
birth control pills, down to plastic surgery,
Hmm.
eyeglass dental work, prescription drugs,
Yep.
all of that. A new toilet because you have to get a high one to sit up. If you have
Yep.
to do a bathroom closure because you can no longer step over in the tub, all of
Yep.
that becomes deductible. Yes,
So if you haven't itemized before, because I itemize?
yes.
Okay, never mind then. Because
Listen, you
I've
just
never
blessed.
given
You
my
don't know how blessed you are. That's the
doctors.
problem.
I never given my like doctor's information or whatever. Not that
Yeah,
I go that often,
yeah,
but with
yeah,
this knee surgery, I done had to pay like some specialist
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
co-pays and stuff
Yep.
like that. Them things $40
So that's why
a
you
pop.
either get the email saying, "Hey, do you have any of this? Do you have any of that?" That's where the emails typically like that comes from, because we be trying to figure out what else we can do to help you out. That's where that
Right.
really comes from.
Oh, okay.
So essentially, if you were itemizing, you have to put that extra line. Okay, this is my medical costs.
Yes,
Here's all the things
yes,
from everything Auntie
And
D
that's just
said.
your out of pocket, not what you
Correct.
pay each month for
you
insurance.
you pay for your insurance too. That's itemized.
Oh, okay.
Long term care insurance, short term health insurance, just
Uh,
not life
life
insurance.
is or just not
Just
life
not
insurance.
life insurance.
Okay.
Your
Okay.
auto insurance too?
On that business, yes. The
Yep.
tires, the gas, the oil
Yep.
changes, the driver's license renewal, all of that on that business, yes.
Wow.
you best believe it's gonna be on that list.
Yes, yes. See, I can tell Francis upgraded his list. He's using more than he
Listen, my list is on it on TV. And but
he
the
using
thing
way more than he
is,
used to, Lisa. He using a lot now.
I was always using that Excel. I tried to upgrade and do something different, but the Excel works perfectly.
Just
So
it's better with the Excel. It's just
it's
so much
better.
easier.
It's
Yeah,
better. And
it's
the
just so
only
much
thing
easier.
I get on myself is that I wait too late. Like I need to start doing my list now,
Yeah,
right? So that by January I can just here's all my stuff ready to go.
yes,
Um,
yes,
so those people who are out there, you understand, don't wait till the last minute. Go ahead and take some time out, start your itemized list, go month by month. And for me, I kick myself because it don't normally take that long because I use a card for all of my expenses. That way it's not, oh, I gotta go here, I gotta go there. I know
that's true.
exactly where it's at. I know exactly what happened that day, what
Yeah.
came out. So it's easy. But it's just taking the time out to do it.
Yeah,
Because of this show on TV, I'm going to start this weekend
that's a good thing,
itemizing.
Francis. That's a good thing.
Yes, ma'am.
So you guys may have been seeing a lot of the news and everybody is talking about 9 million potential eligible families that didn't claim money that was out there. So that the earned income tax credit is the EITC, the child tax credit is the CTC, and any other benefits including the stimulus. So we talked about this a little bit earlier when the people who was selling the churn and went back and all of this and all that, they did all these reports, and that's where this came from because those parents now want their own stimulus money and all that. They're not really entitled to it. But the government is saying, according to the records they have in the prior year returns,
Mm-hmm.
there is 9 million cases that did not file for these credits. And this is
Amazing.
where it's going to come from, friends. If your grandmother claimed the children last year and you reported that she shouldn't have claimed them, well, they got her case saying because the children was already on her file before. They're looking for her to file that return.
Mm-hmm.
But she can't because Lisa said she wasn't supposed to claim her child. Knows
Wow.
where these cases come from.
You know what? I have a friend that we just this past homecoming, still celebrating. Found out that they just took in 3 foster care kids. So they get to, and it was court ordered. So the court said, you got to take care of these kids. They get to take the claim, the taxes on all 3 of those kids. Is that correct?
Yes.
Since the court gave them the babies.
If the court didn't give them the baby, they still got the right. The child is in their life, in their house.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's a box under there instead of saying son or daughter, it says foster child.
Wow. Okay.
So they still have the right. They taking care of the child. They feed them. It's still a
They're
child. They
feeding them,
still got. They
taking
still
care of them,
put it up,
buying them
even though they
stuff.
get a little
Yeah.
money for the kid. They're
Right.
not getting enough to do everything. It's still going to be on the tax return as a foster child.
Got you. Got you.
Mhm.
Wow.
So what
You
it
know, I
makes it a
wonder if
lot
there
easier.
could be more incentives to give the foster care. I mean, that's just policies and politics, but I think that could be an incentive for those families that take in kids to say, hey,
They
because you
get
have
a
this
lot of
foster.
money based on the age of the child. They get money based on the age of that child anyway. And
Okay.
then they get a food subsidy and they get quite a bit already. The
Okay.
bonus is that they get to claim the child on the tax return. So
On
they
that
already
tax.
getting a lot.
Got
Yeah.
okay. Good. 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 And
Yeah. So they
again, it's worth it. It's worth it.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
they
worth it.
bonusing out anyway on that. Now
Yeah.
let's say God forbid they decide to adopt those 3 kids, right?
Right.
The IRS gonna give them 15,000 times 3.
The IRS owes them.
If they do an adoption credit, it is
Right.
valued at 15,000 per dependent child they adopted.
So they're gonna get 15,000 per
If,
child.
if they adopt the children and file the taxes with the children on there and file the adoption credit while they're filing the taxes all at one time, the
Uh-huh.
value of per dependent is $15,000.
Wow.
Is that a one-time thing or is that every year?
Yes, ma'am. They don't need to be for one. They give you that 15 grand all at one time. Bam.
Oh,
There go your 15,000.
and then you can still put them on your taxes every year too.
Oh yeah, yes,
Wow.
yes. So there's a lot of credits out there. Just knowing to use them. That's the catch 22.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing, but then some people do take advantage of it because they get these babies, they get the money, but you're not doing right by these babies, right?
Yeah.
So that's my other kind of concern. Like, okay, if you're getting them, let's do right by them. They already had enough issues
Yeah,
and a
it's
hard
something
start.
Yeah,
that's their business. Like
Yeah.
foster care is their business.
Yeah. Like, how many babies you need to have up in the
it
house?
is. And I got a client like that. That's her business. But I got to get me a job. And she about 65. She still right here with these adopted children. Stop it, lady. Stop with these foster children. You too old. You
Yeah.
can't do nothing with these foster children. But she get them for the money.
And then you're not
That's why
taking
she say
care of
she
them. That's
go.
my problem. Take care of them.
Yeah. She's really too old. So it don't matter. Who all
Wow.
got a health savings account? Who got an HSA, a health savings account?
I don't.
I
No?
don't.
Okay, good. I like you don't. Most of y'all have a flex spending account, right?
Yes.
Know what? Okay. Flex spending accounts are better, in my opinion, and this is why. Health savings account becomes income on your tax return. The companies do not tell you that when you take out these wonderful accounts because you want to save all this pre-tax money. Yeah, okay. But if you have a health savings account and you look on your W-2 inbox 12, if you see any money with a code W, that means health savings account is on a W-2. We finna tax you on it again because you ain't paid no tax in the beginning, and we finna make it a part of your income.
Wow.
People don't know that. So what you have to do is that a health savings account should give you a contribution 1099 and a distribution 1099. Most people don't get but one or the other. You have to have two. Because if you could give me both, I could offset that money in box 12 and not make it your income and make
Yeah.
the company responsible for what they now want you to pay taxes on. Because most of the time it's your money you put in there. They making you pay taxes on your
Your
own money.
Your own money. Oh man.
Your own money.
That's
So you have
dirty.
to know how to backtrack that and keep them from making you pay taxes on your own money. And that's the problem to me with the HSA. So what they decide to do now, because people was dropping out of HSAs, in 2023, they're going to up and cap off the amount you could put in an HSA account.
Got you.
All HSAs do not roll over. Some of them roll over. You can keep the money from year to year and it just roll over. You just keep putting it in. A lot of them, if you put it in this year and don't use it by December 31st, you lose it. So that company just gained on you again.
Oh wow.
But you still gonna pay tax on all that money when you file. So you got to be careful with that when it comes to these HSAs. So this year, an individual is 7,750. They're gonna cap you off that you could put in one. That's for family coverage. And on a single individual, it is now 3,850 that you could put in one. You used to put in $1,000 a month if you wanted to, but now they're capping it off because people now want their extra money back, or they want a rollover account where their money still grows, and now it's making the company responsible. So now they want to
Right.
cap it off to keep them out of being responsible for so much of that money, and that way this year they're gonna cap it off. But if people don't have to have an HSA, I wouldn't have one. It ain't saving you money. It ain't doing nothing. Letting you take that money every payday out of your paycheck, put it on this card. When you go to the doctor, the pharmacy, you got this card to pay it with. That's all it's
Correct.
doing.
That's all it's doing. Yeah.
That's all it's
When you
doing.
could have paid it
If
on your
you
own, anyways.
write out your little debit card because you got to pay it anyway,
Yep.
it's the same thing. But it's saving you and you being double taxed on some money you done already been taxed on one time over here. Now they're gonna drop it on the
Yeah,
W-2 and make
that's
you
dirty.
responsible all
That's
over.
dirty.
Yeah. So that's the problem I really have with HSAs. And if anybody out there look at your W-2, you got a W on that W-2 in box 12, that's a HSA. Because a lot of people I say, oh, you got an HSA. How did you know that? Hell, I know what these codes mean right here. That's how I know that. But anyway, where the HSA at? Let's do that.
But actually a really good question because some people may have it and don't know they have it. So when they've
No,
been
you
going to
gotta
the
set it up though, don't you?
Yeah.
So you should
Somewhere
know
you got
you
an
have
HR
it.
account. You have
okay,
to set it
good,
up.
good.
Yeah, you have to
Somewhere
set
for
it
that
up.
HR account. Yeah. But a lot of people have been on these jobs so long, it's just been rolling. They
Rolling.
just
Yeah,
don't.
you're not asking questions.
They're
Yeah,
not. They're not keeping up with it. Every year, open enrollment. Oh, I just clicked that button because I'm done again, and nobody
yeah.
keeping up with what they got. Yeah.
Hmm.
And mine
But
just came in yesterday. I said,
yeah.
okay, let me go check to see what's out there.
Yeah.
See if I need to change or keep it the same.
Yeah. Yeah. And you should do that every year.
Right,
You should look at what to upgrade or downgrade to every year
Hmm.
because your life is changing, and so is everything else. So you got to keep
Hmm.
everything suitable to the life you have,
right,
and that will make it where you don't get yourself over, into something or have something paying for something you don't need and all of that. It will save you from that.
right.
Wow.
Any questions so far?
Woo.
Listen, we
It's
got to
always
do
a lot,
another one.
Josh.
And like, we got to do, every time you come on, I'm like, oh, that's some good stuff. And I feel like it's not enough. Like, one session, because the laws keep changing
They
and things keep
do.
moving.
You
And,
probably will
you
have to do
know,
another one of these in December.
Okay.
Um,
yeah,
because the emails are vastly still coming. I mean, they are. It's just a lot. 2023 was supposed to be one of our worst tax years, and
Mm.
2025, it was set up by our former president that he put in laws for 8 years, and he was only president for 4. So some of these things that could not and have not been able to be changed, and we're kind of stuck with.
Mm.
The current president has made a lot of the changes behind the scene. And people say, oh, he's not doing it. Oh, no. If you really know what you was going to be facing versus what you are facing, you'll thank it because
yeah,
we don't have the hardship that we would have already had to roll into already. This year, I can't even do my continuing education classes and I have to do 24 hours a year because
right.
the government has not finalized what is required of us for next year yet.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
So we're under the gun November and December. We're scrambling to get it done because if I don't get it done, my certification goes null and void.
So, correct, correct.
IRS takes me off their list. I can't even file. I can do nothing.
It's crazy. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully they put an extension on that. But it's the same thing. Like, currently, we still don't got a budget. The country has still, they still haven't really put a budget in place to say this is what we're gonna be using. And it's like, what's happening?
No, because we print money.
yeah.
We ain't worry about
We're
no
taking that
budget.
money out
Just
of
print
reserve.
some
It's
more money. Just print some more money.
worth some more money. Yeah. So for us, that's very hard because
Ain't
I'm
even gotta
always
really print the money. Just
just
Well,
electronically.
pull somebody
everything
that's
right
used
now is
to it.
on crypto.
Yeah, let's not ever deal with that. We're not gonna play with cryptocurrency either. That need to be our next conversation. No, Lord, don't play with that cryptocurrency. That's gonna put you in jail. That's gonna get a lot of folks. It's already getting them. That's big cryptocurrency, and bitcoins is huge right now. That's a big thing on the
Okay,
radar.
we got to talk about that because I got a couple of stocks and yeah, we're
What's
gonna have to have
the
a
stock?
conversation. No, I
No,
got some crypto. I got some
okay,
crypto.
just don't cash it out yet.
Perfect. And that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna hold
Just
on
don't.
to it.
Just hold on to it. Let them make some regulations to it. Don't cash it out just yet.
Mm.
Mm.
Okay,
Cause
Auntie
y'all need
V,
a,
let's
y'all need a whole show.
get to this last one, and then we gotta. I guess we could schedule our next session with you while we.
Yeah, you probably need so we could because the emails are coming in really fast, and I want to try to make sure
Yes.
that people are aware. This information was stuff that people really had no idea of. That, like I said, when you put the links up there, they can really go and read the articles themselves. That'll give them
Okay.
something to do their own due diligence with.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
definitely put the links up first thing tomorrow.
so the IRS is very concerned about scams. And I know a lot of clients who have gotten scammed. You're getting these phone calls or you're getting these emails that saying that you owe money and da 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 da. The IRS cannot and will not send you a phone call or an email. They only can take phone calls to us who's IRS certified, not to a taxpayer at all, ever. So if anybody call you and say you owe the IRS money, tell them thank you and I'm never gonna pay them, and let's move on. Don't answer that question. Don't give those people your information. None of that. Do not open any email that says it came from the Internal Revenue Service.
Mm.
Mm.
None is valid. No email. Anybody say you owe the IRS a debt and you know you don't owe them, don't get scared. Hang up your phone, delete that email, and let's keep moving. Do
Mm.
not fall prey to that at all. Because what they're saying is that the
I think we lost you for a second.
Yep.
did everybody leave me?
No,
No,
you
yeah.
froze. You
You
froze.
They
I
got
think
froze.
you got to
information
say
at
that again.
irs.gov. Even think, because if somebody call you or if somebody email you, they want you to forward that email to them so they can do their own investigation and find who that is.
Okay.
So please, if y'all get caught into that, and it tells you just how the instructions on just how to email it, just
Mhm.
what they want you to do, what information they want you to attempt to gather, they want you to send that all over to them, and they have nothing but a special task force right now doing nothing but handling that.
So, if somebody does receive that, really, they should just go to the ID me. Is that correct?
No, they should first of all report that to the
Gotcha.
officials at irs.gov.
Okay.
Report it to them and let them take it over from there.
Mm.
If you believe that somebody has your information, then yes, log into your ID Me account and verify. Is any of my stuff changed? Is anything different on here? Did
Yeah.
Iris write me any letters? If none of that has happened, ignore the fact that that person say you owe them money. Ignore the fact that that person say we're gonna send the police to your house. Tell them to send them on. I'm sitting right here in my pajamas waiting on them,
Yep.
and this is what we're
Yep.
about to do. So send them on here because that's not true. And I
Mm.
have some young clients who got scammed this year
Mm.
Wow.
by this. And then after he paid the $5,000, then he want to call me and ask me, "Is it true?" I said, "Sir, didn't you owe the IRS $108?" Yeah, but they told me I owe 5,000. If I told you it was 108, how did it go from 108 to 5,000? And you went and bought the Visa cards and gave it to the people like a crazy person.
Wow.
Anytime they tell you to go to the store and buy Visa cards, do not. It is a scam. I don't care who they are.
Wow.
Anybody wants you to go get a Visa card, it is a scam. Because in one of the classes, they showed us how the scammer pulls up your address, look around and see what stores is in your area, and tell you what stores to go to. That's why they want your zip
Wow.
code. They ask you for your zip code. They're looking to see exactly where you are.
Yeah. Oh, they getting sophisticated around here.
Yes. So that's pretty big.
Yeah,
Wow.
but people, I mean, people are genuinely have a fear of Uncle Sam.
They
So,
do, but
Yeah.
if you
yeah,
know you haven't done anything wrong, why are you scared?
Correct. Correct.
You
because
know.
of all the foolishness, you just don't know sometimes.
Well, then find somebody to ask who you can.
True. I
Yeah.
agree with
I
you.
mean, you
Yeah.
you, you got to think outside the box too, and that's the purpose. That's the purpose of us really doing a lot of this for people to think
Yeah.
outside the box. If I do an interview with somebody, a consultation with somebody, and I tell them up front, I'm going to ask you questions that sound stupid, and I use the word stupid for a reason. Most people frown at me. I said, when we get to that point, you're going to understand why. I said, and then I would ask, like, okay, friends, you decide to do an LLC. Why did you decide to do that?
Start a business.
No, everybody told me I should.
Oh God.
Well, it it
Oh
hurt
God.
your feelings because I asked you why you did it, and most of them do get offended. But
Right.
then I say to people, I say, now I really asked you that for a whole reason. I asked you that to see what your real answer was going to be, and I need you now to follow me and think outside the box.
Yeah.
Because I asked you a dumb question. I just got your attention, really got your attention.
Right.
Now you mad with me for really thinking you stupid, which you not.
Right.
But if I don't get your real attention, you still
Right.
gonna make crazy mistakes. So
Right.
now that I got your attention, Now let's dab into what the real issue and what you should have done. Then I say, well, because you probably shouldn't have done an LLC just now. Well, why shouldn't I? Because typically when you do LLCs in any kind of corporation, you're trying to protect the brand. Right
Right.
now, you have as a name.
Hmm.
All you got is a name.
Right.
The EIN letter
Yep.
protected your name.
Right.
You didn't need an LLC to protect your name.
Right.
When you start making $89,000, $100,000 a year, now I need you to protect the brand because you
Mhm.
created one.
Mhm.
And it's a big difference from that name to that brand. This way we at. We got a name. We got a no. You just got a name.
Right.
How do you know you're gonna continue to work this business? How do
Right.
you know you're gonna like it?
Right. We got to talk about trust the next
All of
time
that.
you come back.
So why do you create all of that? Not
Yes.
knowing whether you're gonna like it or want to continue to do it. All you did was cost yourself money and you made no money. I teach you how not to spend money before you make money.
Yeah. Good stuff.
All right, Auntie V, look at your calendar. What December look like for you?
Oh yes.
That's
Yes. 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 And yes. Got
France,
to.
look at your calendar. Well, you'll be here on Thursdays.
Listen,
so.
I won't be here on Christmas, so don't put it on Christmas. I know you going to
Christmas
work.
on a Sunday.
No, it's Christmas on a Sunday, but we start on that Thursday. We
So you
start on
either
the
gonna do
22nd.
the 8th or the 15th, Lisa.
Okay, let's do the 15th.
Okay.
That's a good one. The 15th of April.
And if anybody got questions, if anybody that comes on a weekly basis have questions, take the questions and we can try to answer some of the questions as well to see
Absolutely.
we coming up to the new year. What
What
the
should I
business needs
do?
to be
Yeah.
doing. Is there a business that need to be in place? What does that look like? What does a Mary Kay or Avon representative does for a tax return? Those may be some of the things because a lot of people typically do that to try to
Right.
help themselves out. And that is not always good. So that could be some of the stuff that you want to talk about as well.
I do want to put that on the table for next one is the trust. Should you start a trust? And what's the benefits? What's the pros, the cons? How does
Okay.
that affect you on the
That is
taxes?
pretty big too right now. So yeah, we could do
Yeah, gotta have that
yeah.
conversation.
That's pretty big. Might get Ron to help us with that because that's what he'll do more so. Um, but yeah, that'll be pretty good. That trust is very important. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Every time, like I said, it's like it's not enough time. It's
Every
not.
time.
It's not. We're already 20 minutes in. Like
Yeah.
And we go
We
into
are
different
20 minutes
dynamics
over.
every time. So
every time. It's like, man, this was eye-opening. But like I said, like you said, they're always changing it. So you got to be up on your game, right?
yeah.
So, man, thank you again. I'm starting on Saturday.
All right, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Saturday.
I'm gonna hold you to
Itemize
that.
it. Itemize it. By the time we get back, by the time we get to December, I should be done. Ready to
I know your
hand it
tax
over.
preparer was happy with you being organized and together right there.
Oh,
Having
every
everything
time. I think that's what she gets on me about is that I don't turn it in on time. So I always have to file an extension. And it's so bad she knows, all right, yeah, you filed an extension. So the years when I do right, she's like, oh wow, you on point. So I'm trying to make it a habit
So
to
we're
get
gonna
it done.
pin extensions for the next conversation too.
Oh Lord.
I love it. I love it.
So
Listen.
that's gonna be our number one topic, friends, is extensions.
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
know
do
the
it
reason
early.
and the rhyme for those, so we don't have enough time for that today. We gonna pin that for the 15th too. That's gonna be a very important conversation for you. Extensions.
Oh,
Once you
This
get it
is
all, you're gonna
good.
stop doing it.
Ooh. So extensions, trust.
That's gonna be two topics. You are watch. You're gonna
by
stop
the
doing
time
it.
we get to December, I'm gonna be ready.
Yeah.
I do
And
not
that's
want
gonna
to
save
start
people from
January
that.
without having
So
it
we
all
write those two
done.
down, Lisa. We're gonna do both of those. Trust and
Yep.
Okay, I got it. I
two.
got it.
That's two main things that we are gonna start with.
Mm, mm.
Anything else you can think of, let's drop it on the table. Let's see what we can do with it.
I love it.
Listen,
Thank
this
you.
has been Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that cook, boy.
I mean, this some real. This like
This
the
some good
meaty.
stuff.
This
Yes.
some like for real. This like preparing
Funny.
Thanksgiving dinner right here.
Yeah.
We done got all
Oh,
the sides, all the we
oh
getting down
man.
into it for real.
You
Listen,
still
if
got
you
room
are
for more.
watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching us on Facebook, hit the like button. Make sure you get notifications. Never miss another show. Thank you, ITV, so much. Valencia came with Jack and Dot tax preparation. Thank you, France, for hanging out. Oh my God, this was so good. This was so
Good.
good.
So
And we're
good.
gonna keep having this conversation because this is important. It really is. It really is. We're gonna have to do a live workshop or something. I don't know. Does Auntie V, you got to come to Tallahassee, so
I
well
know
you
I
got
gotta
to
come
come to
see you
Tallahassee
sometime.
anyway and see the house at some point. So
Yes. Yeah.
We could make it a business trip. That way you can make some deductions.
right.
There it is. You
Hey,
stop telling y'all I
big
don't play
business
no
trip. I'm gonna
games,
get him
man.
for all of these. Put him on the third one for business trip. That's gonna be a good one for your two friends. I'm gonna help
I
you out
love
all
it.
the way, right?
I need it.
I love it. I love it. So listen, y'all join us. We'll be back here next Thursday, 9 o'clock, same time. Thank y'all for joining. Good night. Good night. Good night.